ever dream of early retirement?
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, trading spreadsheets for surfboards,
Yeah.
board meetings for meditation retreats.
Right.
It's a tempting picture, right?
Oh, yeah.
But what's the reality beyond those idyllic daydreams?
Yeah.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into one man's experience in the first 6 months after reaching FIRE.
Okay.
Financial independence, retire early,
Right.
as chronicled in his blog, Nomad on a Quest to Settle.
It's a fascinating case study, especially because our subject, Naz, isn't your typical retiree. At 32, he's already achieved what many spend their lives working towards. But here's the twist. Naz isn't just after endless margaritas on the beach.
Right.
He's looking for something more profound, a sense of belonging, a place to call home.
So we're not just talking about crunching numbers and retiring early here. It's about the emotional landscape of early retirement.
Mm-hmm.
The joys, the struggles, the unexpected detours.
Right.
And Naz's journey is full of them.
Yeah.
He kicks off this new chapter with a bang at Wonderfruit,
Okay.
a massive music festival in Thailand. 50,000 steps a day, dancing, new connections. He even planted a rambutan tree. You'd think he'd want to keep that energy going, but instead he does a complete 180
Wow.
and heads straight to a silent meditation retreat.
It's a fascinating juxtaposition, don't you think? Almost as if he's trying to find an anchor for all that newfound freedom. That period immediately following retirement can be a whirlwind of emotions. There's this immense possibility, but it can also be daunting, even disorienting. It seems Naz is intuitively seeking balance from the get-go.
It's like he's trying to figure out who he is when he's not defined by his job title or his next deadline.
Mm.
And a big part of that seems to be about connection.
Mm.
He talks a lot about nurturing deeper relationships, about shared experiences. It's as much about building a community as it is about finding himself.
And that's a crucial aspect of early retirement that often gets overlooked. When you remove the structure and social framework of a job, those connections become even more vital. But it also requires effort and intentionality, which, as we'll see, becomes a recurring theme in Naz's journey.
From the quiet mountains of Thailand, Naz heads to the crashing waves of Sri Lanka.
Oh, nice.
He's drawn to the ocean, the surf, the familiarity of a place he's visited before.
Right.
In fact, he even toys with the idea of putting down roots there, of making it his second home.
Interesting. It's interesting how his goals seem to shift, from seeking those external experiences like that music festival,
Right.
to something more internal and grounding.
Huh.
It's as if he's craving a different kind of anchor now, something more stable.
Yeah, and he really leans into that idea of self-discovery in Sri Lanka. He mentions reading Courage to be Disliked and The Pathless Path. These aren't exactly light beach reads, are they?
No, not at all. And it speaks to a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths about himself, to explore the deeper layers of his motivations and desires.
Right.
It seems his quest for home is as much about understanding himself as it is about finding a physical place.
He's reunited with his surfboard Pinky, living in a cozy house steps from the beach, surfing almost every day. He even meets someone, and for a while it seems like things are falling into place. He hints at the possibility of a deeper connection,
Yeah.
of building a life together.
You can almost feel the shift in his writing during this period. There's a lightness, an optimism that wasn't there before. It highlights how crucial relationships are to our sense of belonging, especially during times of transition.
But then just as quickly as that hope emerged, it's dashed. The relationship ends, leaving Naz heartbroken and more uncertain than ever.
Wow. It's a harsh reminder that even with the best intentions and careful planning, life has a way of throwing curveballs. And for someone like Naz, who's in the process of rebuilding his entire sense of self, these emotional blows can feel even more intense.
And as if that weren't enough, he gets some difficult news from home. The war in Ukraine has escalated, and his father, at 58 years old, has been drafted.
Talk about a reality check. It underscores how interconnected our lives are, even when we strive for independence and self-sufficiency. External events, especially those that impact loved ones, can derail even the most well-crafted plans.
Faced with this double whammy of heartbreak and worry, Naz does something unexpected. He books a flight to Kuala Lumpur for some much-needed durian feasts.
It might seem like a whimsical detail, but I think it speaks to the importance of self-care, of recognizing when you need a break, even a seemingly silly one. Sometimes the best way to process difficult emotions is to give yourself permission to simply exist, to find joy in the little things.
So there he is in Kuala Lumpur, indulging in durian. Definitely not everyone's idea of comfort food,
Right.
but it seems to do the trick at least for a little while.
Sometimes a change of scenery, even a pungent one, can be just what you need to gain a fresh perspective.
Exactly. And as he regains his footing, Naz starts thinking about his next move. He considers Taiwan for a bit, but ultimately decides on Da Nang, Vietnam. It's a place he associates with adventure surfing, jiu-jitsu, good food. But this time, there's a different energy to his exploration.
It's like he's learned from the roller coaster of the previous months. He's still seeking new experiences, but there's a greater sense of intentionality now. He's not just chasing highs, he's looking for something more sustainable, more grounding.
And one way he does that is by establishing a routine. In Da Nang, he dives into jiu-jitsu, explores the city, makes new friends. He even starts journaling regularly, documenting his wins, his stresses, the things he's grateful for. It's like he's building a toolkit for navigating this new life, one that goes beyond financial planning and into the realm of emotional well-being.
It's a brilliant strategy, actually. By cultivating self-awareness and developing healthy coping mechanisms, he's equipping himself to handle the inevitable ups and downs of life, retired or not.
But even with his newfound stability, a part of him still feels drawn to Chiang Mai, a place he knows and loves from his nomadic days. So he packs his bags once again and heads back to Thailand.
This time, however, it feels different, doesn't it? He's not just a nomad passing through. He's returning to a place where he has a history, a community, maybe even a sense of belonging already established.
And that's exactly what it seems like. He talks about how the receptionist at his condo greeted him with "welcome home," and you can just feel the weight of those words.
It's a subtle but powerful moment. It suggests that maybe, just maybe, home isn't just a place. It's a feeling, a state of being. And perhaps after months of searching, Naz is starting to find that within himself.
He settles back into a familiar routine, gym, jiu-jitsu, running. But this time, he's not just going through the motions. He's pushing his physical limits, exploring the deeper layers of himself through what he calls shadow work, a term for delving into the hidden parts of our psyche.
It's like he's finally integrating all the lessons he's learned along the way. He's combined the financial freedom of early retirement with the emotional intelligence needed to truly thrive.
And a big part of that seems to be about connection. He reflects on the challenges of maintaining relationships when you're on a different schedule than everyone else. It's a common hurdle for early retirees, bridging that gap between the freedom of unlimited time and the demands of a 9-to-5 world.
Absolutely. It requires open communication, flexibility, and a willingness to get creative with how you nurture those connections.
He also gets a dose of reality when he realizes that even with careful budgeting, unexpected expenses pop up, like the possibility of a month-long surfing trip to Okinawa. Not exactly cheap.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that financial planning is an ongoing process, even perhaps especially in retirement. Life throws curveballs, dreams evolve, and it's important to be adaptable.
And speaking of dreams, Naz wraps up his 6-month reflection by setting some pretty ambitious goals for the next 6 months. He wants to run a marathon, master jiu-jitsu, become a better writer, and even work on some software ideas he's had brewing.
It's like he's found that sweet spot between purpose and passion. He's not just filling his time, he's designing a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling on his own terms.
And then there's my personal favorite.
Yeah.
He wants to dream again. He says he hasn't remembered a dream in 10 years and is determined to tap back into that subconscious world.
It's such a beautiful metaphor for this entire journey, isn't it? Early retirement at its core is about reawakening parts of yourself that might have been dormant for years. It's about exploring new possibilities, embracing the unknown, and rediscovering what it truly means to live a life that resonates with who you are.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Naz's first 6 months of early retirement, we're left with more than just a travelogue or a financial checklist. We're left with a powerful reminder that true freedom, the kind that brings lasting fulfillment, requires more than just financial independence. It demands self-awareness, resilience, a willingness to embrace the unexpected, and a commitment to cultivating meaningful connections along the way. What seemingly impossible goals would you strive for if you had the freedom of early retirement? What unexplored parts of yourself would you be curious to discover? Let those questions guide you as you chart your own course, whether it's towards early retirement or simply towards a more intentional and fulfilling life.